It felt like I was the only man on this earth, and had to learn everything by myself. I had found a cave to live in, made plates and cups from wood, and even started a vegetable garden. But the biggest problem I encountered was that I wanted to talk to someone. I did have my dog Poll and the parrot with me, and that made me feel a little better, but there was still something missing. I still wanted to see another person. I made a small boat, but the sea was too dangerous, so I stayed close to the island. The island was large and found many new beaches and many different kinds of fruits. I managed to survive, and I was grateful for that, but then, some years later, everything changed in blink of an eye. One day, about noon, as I was going towards my bowl, I was exceedingly surprised with the print of a man's naked foot on the shore. I stood like one thunderstruck. I listened, I looked around me, but I could hear nothing, nor see anything. I went up to higher ground to look farther. I went up the shore and down the shore, but it was all one. I could see other impression but that one. I went to it again to see if there were any more, and to observe if it might not be my fancy, but there was no room for that, for there was exactly the print of a foot, toes, heel, and every part of a foot. I stayed there for a long time thinking, but became more and more confused. At last, I returned home very frightened. The moon looked down on me as I was walking, terrified to the last degree, looking behind me at every 2 or 3 steps. At that moment, every bush and tree, every stump, was a man. When I came to my cave, my castle, for so I think called it ever after this, I fled into it like one pursued. Whether I went over by the ladder, as first contrived, went in at the hole in the rock, which I had called a door, I cannot remember. I ran for cover. I slept none that night. The more I thought about what I had seen, the more afraid I became. While these reflections were rolling in my mind, I was very thankful in my thoughts that I was so happy as not to be thereabouts at that time, or that they did not see my boat, by which they would have concluded that some inhabitants had been in the place, and perhaps have searched farther for me.